What up, what up, what up? You got the original Lone Wolf coming at y'all real quick. Gonna get into it, man. A little screen share. It's been a while since I've shared some things with you guys. I want to start off by saying fair use. Fair use, I do reserve all my rights. I will not be compelled to do anything based off of me putting out content that is for entertainment and educational purposes only. People do your own research. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a guru. I do not charge money for any information. People that be on my Zoom chats, they know that. I don't charge anything. But yet I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a guru. So don't take my word for it. I ask that you do your own research. We're going to cover a couple of things. Number one, we're going to cover the discharging of debt and how debt is supposed to be properly placed upon someone. Because it's not like, there's no such thing as a debt, right? Because if you come to me and say, Lone Wolf, I need $20, you dig, to get some gas, to get me through to the week till I get paid, on Friday. And then I give you the money back. You know what I'm saying? If I give you that $20, you are in debt to me for $20. Or for 20 shekels. Or for 20 pieces of fucking macaroni. Whatever it might be, of whatever type of transaction of any value or whatever barter or trading that we're doing. So it's not like you cannot owe somebody. It is true. But there is something called fraud. Y'all been hearing me say it all the time. The fraud came first. Nothing matters but the fraud. All right? So we're going to talk about the UCC-11. I told you guys I would make this video in regards to showing you guys in terms of what that process kind of sort of looks like and, what the best options are. And really, for me to express to you, the best option is to call the secretary of whatever state you in and you get their word for it. All right. Now, that's also part of the disclaimer for the alphabet boys and all that and shit. So they can't think I'm just on here trying to do something fraudulent. All right. Again, I reserve my rights for educational purposes. But before we do that, I would like to get into this FedNow shit, right? And we're only going to touch on it for a minute because y'all know how I am. I've been talking about a lot of this shit for a long time. It's like everybody got their own channel and they geared towards specific things with their channel, whether it be me or somebody else. A lot of people dedicate their time and energy to history, real history, and, a lot of people dedicate their time to societal issues that may be current and etc. But with me, I always try to point out the fraud in everything I do and everything I put out. I want people to know they're being played. All right. So now we're going to start with this FedNow and then we're going to jump to the discharging debt thing. So the fucking Federal Reserve decided that they're going to take over. Like completely take over. And let me say this. Let me back up by saying they already been in control. I'll also say this. The Federal Reserve Bank is no more federal government than Federal Express. I'm going to say that one more time. The Federal Reserve Bank is no more a part of the federal government than Federal Express. FedEx. All right? Just so everybody understands this. What we're dealing with and what we're watching here is a financial coup d'etat. If anybody know the history of the foundation or the principal foundation of the fiat currency here in America when these so-called entities came here, we'll just leave it like that. I'm trying to keep it clean. They brought with them this fictitious way of contracting. Because remember, contracts exist and they've been existing for a long period of time. You having a baby with a woman having a baby with you, even leading up to all of those things that causes her to get pregnant, etc. It's all contract, right? You cannot do this against his or her will, right? So it's not like contracts haven't been going on, or covenants, if you dig. It ain't like it is something new. What they did was introduce perversion and fraud. Like they dumped maggots into it. That's what they did. They took like a clean piece of those already delicious, Chicago style, and they just put maggots and all kind of perversions and filth and shit on it, and they fed it to the people. You dig? That's the best way I could put it. So the Federal Reserve Bank was introduced to give us the fiat currency that we have today. I'm not finna go into no extensive ass like history thing and this, that, and the other in regards to that and all that. I'm not finna do that. That's not what this video is really geared toward, right? But you got a lot of people that, you know, they talk about it. Red Wolf hate this shit. He detests it. He talk about the shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? So people already know. They know about the okay, let me put it to you like this. They talk about the deficit that the United States corporation is taking on, but they've never come out of bankruptcy. Nobody wants to talk about that. They went into bankruptcy in 1933. And since then, they've just been in reoccurring bankruptcy. It's like when you look at the IRS, they paperwork for when they filed as a business, they filed the business papers and then they revoked it. Like, I probably need to do another YouTube video on that in regards to them with their EIN number and all this other stuff. But you guys can go back and watch some of my older videos. I showed you how to pull up all of these entities, DUNS numbers, excuse me, their EIN numbers. I've showed you guys how to do a lot of that. Plus, I've told you guys to email me if you wanted like a list of the DUNS number for the different states and the major city in each state. A lot of people have already reached out to me. I've already emailed a lot of people that. But the point I'm trying to make is what we're dealing with today now with this FedNow thing is just complete control. Because they're going to be responsible for turning this into a digital cashless society. This was one of the arguments that me and my brother would have. And I wouldn't necessarily call it an argument, but, you know, we will be, you know, having these conversations about this cryptocurrency and shit and Bitcoin, because my brother owns some of that shit. And I kept trying to explain to him, like, bro, you don't know who the fuck is responsible for this shit. Who's behind it? You know, and this is what House Joint Resolution 192 and all that other stuff come into mind and, you know, things like that, which my brother don't know shit about. And, you know, I could never get anywhere with him in the conversation because his whole thing was, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know, and it was at this time, too, before all of the crashes and all this bullshit that's been going on and the dude that's supposed to stole all the money, etc. Prior to all of that, his thing was, well, I'm gonna ride the bandwagon just to see what happened type of thing. And it's like, I can kind of understand a person, you know, and not wanting to knock their hustle. But when you don't have a lot of information that's pertinent to what it is that you're doing, that's a fucking problem. And that was my stance with my brother in regards to the whole Bitcoin and all that. It's like, well, I'm asking him a couple of questions because I don't know, right? Like, I didn't know the answer to the questions that I was asking him. I'm not hooked up in the cryptocurrency shit. Like, I don't own Bitcoin and all. I don't fuck with none of y'all know me. I don't even fucking have credit cards and debit cards and shit. I don't fuck with that shit. So I'm asking somebody that, you know, that's dealing with this shit. And he can't answer these questions. Well, you know, it's a no-brainer for somebody like myself. It's like, well, at that point, it's like, well, yeah, you just further conclude what I've been talking about. So to get back on point, what they're doing now with this FedNow thing, they're taking over all the transactions. So basically that transaction that you do, and this is the Federal Reserve launching this bullshit, right? They're launching this without Congress approval. That's the reason why I opened up this whole segment with telling you guys that the Federal Reserve Bank is no more federal government than Federal Express. That's why I brought this up. Here it is. They're launching some bullshit in regards to transactions. And it's going to be the way that they've always been done. You go online, you see something you like on Amazon or etc., and you use your debit card. And when that connection go through with you put in your information to pay for this product and the other side and how they receive that information and withdraw that payment from your account and all of that, well, now that's going to be done through the Federal Reserve Bank. If you understand the games that these people have been playing when it comes down to the currency, you'll understand that this is how they take you to that next paradigm of what they call cashless society, which is going to be the new currency. This is one of the reasons why I have an issue with certain things that people preach. I'm not going to bring up a certain person's name. Y'all already know I did a video on this lazy eye having motherfucker and the whole 9 yards. We got my brother Red Wolf. He kind of rock with him, but we disagree on certain things. And that's why I love Red Wolf, because we still chop it up every fucking day. And we don't agree on everything. And that's how it's supposed to be. We supposed to still be able to chop it up every day. But I'm not going to name this person's name. I just don't appreciate when you take motherfuckers out of one paradigm and drop them into another fucking paradigm that's just as infectious as the one that you brought them out of. Case in point, the story about like Malcolm X and how he was supposed to grow up the way he did and was on drugs and they called him red and all this other shit. And you know the story about it. Then he went to prison and ran into the Nation of Islam, and look at what happened. They cleaned him up, dressed him up all pretty like, and served his ass up to Elijah Muhammad, who did what? Feasted off of his ass. So I had a problem with that shit. Because you have no peace. But anyway, to get back on point, what they're doing now is taking us into another paradigm. For number one, they've already been able to track everything you do. They've already been able to shut off your debit card and credit card with the flick of a button. They've already been able to do that. They've been able to do it for decades. They just never told you. So now with the whole FedNow thing is, they're just coming out and telling you, yeah, now we're taking over now. And it seems like it's a takeover, but they just telling you, yeah, we've been doing it all along. We're just admitting it now. And we're disguising it as we're just now doing it. But in reality, all along, they've been doing it. That's the fucking psyop. See, when you understand how psychological operations work, this is how your channel won't grow. This is how they'll take your channel down with a few hundred subscribers. When you understand subversion and you can point out subverters, people who are here to do a specific job, and it's designed to lead the masses in a particular direction. And they cannot do that without relinquishing some part of the truth. Man, this shit, man. If y'all only knew how much of this it get on my damn nerve. It really do. So now they're going to be able to see every transaction. They're basically going to put it like this. When you hear me say now they're going to be able to see every transaction, just keep in the back of your mind, they already been able to. They're just really telling you. They're just coming out and telling you. It's kind of like when they was talking about, we're thinking about blocking out the sun. It's like, no, motherfucker. The bullshit you spraying in the air, whether if it's aerosol spraying, chemtrails, whether the fucking plane is farting, whatever topic and term people want to call it, whatever it is, you motherfuckers already been blocking out the sun. Do you understand what I'm saying? Can you understand what I'm saying? So when they came out a couple of weeks ago and told, well, the combat global warming and we just gonna block out the sun. And it's like, nah, man, y'all already been doing it. You just coming out now and telling people that you're doing it under the guise of we're gonna start doing it. But anybody with a half a brain, they understand that you've been doing it all along. This is why I'm into the nitro world when it come down to RC cars with the gas engines and all that. So I'm into all that shit. I'm finna go buy another RC car that's a nitro engine. I'm talking about nitromethane, baby. Straight up NHRA shit to help out with global warming. Let me help them. Y'all trying to put an end to global warming, I'm going to go buy some more nitro cars. But to get back on point, they're coming out now and they're telling you, yeah, we're going to see every transaction you're doing. We've been seeing them, but we're going to pretend like we just now being able to. The United States has always been controlled by the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank has been able to manipulate and be able to dictate policy that we deal with banks every fucking day via Congress and all of them because they're in their hip pocket. Congress, the House of Representatives, they're in their fucking hip pocket. This is the reason why I tell people, even motherfuckers like Jim Redwood, go back and watch Nikita, man. Go back and watch the fucking shit Maggie Q and a couple other people motherfuckers should recognize. The dude that played Pyro and X-Men and shit when he was fighting Mr. Freeze and all that. He in it. A couple other motherfuckers y'all should recognize. The chick that was in Spawn with Michael Jai White and all that, she in it. You know what I'm saying? Go back and watch that shit. They tell you what these motherfuckers... They tell you what they doing. So you go learn and research this shit, and then you discover they make TV shows and movies and shit about it. When you go learn and research sleeper cells, and you go and learn and research shit like subverters and all of that, then you can pinpoint these type of things in a TV show. This is one of the reasons why I don't fuck with people. This is one of the reasons why I keep my circle small. I fucks with everybody, but I keeps the circle small. So now, to get back on point, what we're going to be experiencing rapidly is coming. And part of it is because of motherfuckers like me. But what we're going to be experiencing since Thursday, coming up in the near future, very quickly, they're going to start to switch everything over. I just did the video talking to you guys about the whole thing about with Cash App and all that shit with the rinky-dink pay-as-you-go little debit card thing. And then in the Zoom meeting, motherfuckers put me on to the fact that the CEO or whoever this prick was of Cash App was murdered. I was like, damn, I ain't even know that. Then I went to Zach Hubbard channel and he was breaking that shit down with the gematria about the numbers and all this other shit. And I'm discovering other people already knew about it. I'm like, oh, okay. I ain't know shit about it. I really don't fuck with that kind of shit to begin with. You know what I'm saying? But all of this is going in line. Now, also, let me point this out too. Remember I did the video a while back when I was telling y'all about the Pope ordered all of the Catholic entities to take all of their motherfucking assets out of the banks all around the world and put that shit in the Vatican? Did I not talk about this? I told y'all. This is what they own. Motherfuckers gonna have to go back to bartering and trading. Why you think they wanted to put you in jail for selling loose cigarettes and shit? Oh God, let me stop. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. So I want y'all to be aware of that. Now let's get on to tonight's presentation. All right, I want to show you guys this. All right, so what you're looking at right here is what they call the UCC number 11, right? Not the number 1, but the number 11. That's 2 ones, right? 1, 1, 11. I put emphasis on that because nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about the UCC number 1, and I think the UCC number 3, I believe, is either the 3 or the 5, whichever one it is to amend the UCC number 1. I think it's either number 3 or number 5. Everybody talks about all that shit, but nobody talks about the UCC number 11. I'm going to start this off by saying you contact the secretary of whatever state you in. You know, the capital of the state you in, you contact the secretary in the capital of the state you in, and you talk to them about the UCC number 11. That's the best thing I can tell you. That's the best advice and the only advice that I'm going to give you. What I'm going to be discussing to you is about what I did and what I found on my journey and my travel in the state of what we know of as Illinois, the land of the Lincoln. Now, what I did, as you can see, with it being on screen, this is my name, Tavares Maurice Tankersley. I don't hide shit. Everybody know who I am. When I filled this out, I wanted all the information that they could give me in regards to the debt that is in my name, because that's what the UCC-11 is for. Everybody understands you file a UCC number 1 to file the lien or to show interest in said whatever, boat, motorcycle, chainsaw, whatever, right? But nobody talks to you about the UCC-11 and explain to you that that's how you go about seeing the debt, the alleged debt that is supposed to be in your name. Okay? The way it works is by contract, by whatever alleged state you live in. So in other words, if you go buy a 50-foot boat in the state of Alabama, then the secretary of that state of Alabama should have a record of it. Now notice I said should. If you buy a house in Arizona, then the secretary of Arizona should have a record of this. You borrow money and shit. You signed your fucking life away to get this goddamn house or this car or whatever. They supposed to have a record of it, of the contract. So what you're looking at here is a UCC-11 that outlines the debt in your name for whatever contract you entered in whatever state. Just understand this. If you bought a house in Florida, but you now live in Montana, you cannot file a UCC-11 in Montana to find out if you owe a debt in Florida. You have to do it in Florida. If you're in Oregon, but you bought a house in New Jersey, you cannot go to the Secretary of Oregon to see if you have a debt in New Jersey. They won't have a record. You have to go to the Secretary of New Jersey. So I'm just expressing that to you. Now, the specifics as to how you go about it, how much it costs, you go through the secretary or whatever state you in. You contact those people and you say, hey, I want to fill out this UCC-11, but before I do, I have some questions. And you go into whatever questions that you have. Please don't ask me. I live in Illinois. So if you're not in Illinois, you call wherever the hell you at. All right? So this is the actual form here that you have to fill out. Basically, I just gave them my information. I told them who I was. Like, hey, this is who I am. I'm trying to see who I owe. I'm coming clean, guys. I'm coming to you guys, and I want you guys to tell me who's hunting for me for money. Why? Because Tavares Maurice of the Tankersley family wants to settle the debt, the alleged debt. So the Secretary of the state of Illinois said, okay, Mr. Tankersley, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back through the entire history of you being in this state from any time you've had contracts with this state since you've been here, which is pretty much all of my life. I was born here. I'm a Chicago native. All of my ancestors and shit from the South, but I'm from Chicago. So they went and they looked. They looked and they looked. And they came back to me here and they said, dear sir or madam, enclosed, please find the certificates required concerning the above referenced Uniform Commercial Code. The certificate were assigned authentication number, and you see the number. The required fee is hereby acknowledged, because you got to also call them and see how much they charge. Not everybody is the same. Like, for example, I tried to do this for my daughter in Arkansas. Arkansas won't let you look it up online, but in Illinois, they will. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Don't take my word for it. I'm not trying to give you legal advice and all this other shit. The first and only thing I'm going to tell you is call the goddamn secretary, whatever state you in. Don't come asking me questions because I'm not in your state. All right? So they say the required fee is hereby acknowledged. Alexi Julialis is the fucking secretary. All right? So down here, they tell you document number, error reference. There's an error. Why is there an error? The reason is no debt syntax, the name same as the name, Tavares Maurice Tankersley. So when they went to run that name, it came back as an error. Why? Because we ain't got shit for you. Nothing. So down here, these little pricks enter this little fucking certificate, and this is what I'm supposed to use in court cases. This is what I'll end up using if I end up having to sue somebody. Like, for example, if they don't take this goddamn repossession off of this fucking Experian account, which is ironic to go to show you how these motherfuckers are criminals, because they've already taken it off of TransUnion and Equifax. But I'm going to save that for another video. We might talk about it a little bit tonight, but I'll save that for an entire another video for itself, because that shit is so corrupt. Like the CFPB and the fucking Experian and Train, it's perverted. It's fucking perverted. But anyway, so based off this certificate authentication that states that there is no debt in my name, it says, Alexis Juniali, Secretary of State of Illinois, do hereby certify that I am the keeper of records of the Department of Business Services, right? He's the secretary. That's his fucking job. He's supposed to keep a record of any account of a fucking contract, period. I don't give a fuck if you went into a jewelry store and bought $10,000 worth of diamonds and they set you up on a payment plan. I don't give a fuck what it is. The fucking secretary of the state you in, they supposed to have a record. Because when you went into that jewelry store and charged up $10,000 worth of motherfucking diamonds and promised to pay them on a monthly basis, they put a lien on the diamonds that they sold you, allegedly. It says the examination of the records of the office does not disclose any uniform commercial code records on file for Tavares Maurice Tankersley. All right? So I'm just putting this shit out here. I'm going to go through it again real slow so everybody understand. The Uniform Commercial Code, or UCC number 1, that is supposed to be the alleged form that you fill out showing that you have a said interest in whatever. It could be your house. It could be your car. It could be your ATV. It could be your fucking birth certificate, because people are doing that. It could be whatever. Whatever is of any value. Whatever could be monetized. Okay? The reason for why the birth certificate is so prevalent is because it's a bond. Excuse me. It's being securitized and monetized and shit on the fucking stock market. You'd be surprised somebody in Indochina will own the bond to your birth certificate, because your birth certificate is a bond. A motherfucker in Indochina own your bond. And you don't fucking know it. And the bond is worth millions, if not billions. So we understand the UCC number 1 is the alleged form you fill out when you want to acknowledge a said interest in the property. But this is also the same form that the creditors, or the alleged creditors, because keep in mind, I'm the goddamn creditor. Me. Red Wolf is the creditor. Westside Kulik, Rondo, you know what I'm saying? Janet, we the fucking creditors. Keep that in mind. That they got it reversed to where motherfucking JP Morgan and whatever that punk ass finance company you dealing with for your car, or the mortgage company for your house, they got it around to where they're the creditor. But in reality, your signature makes you the creditor. Okay? So based upon this, or based upon that whole action and how that work, when a lien is placed upon said whatever, it triggers the UCC-11, meaning it goes on there as a record. So in other words, if you just bought a house in Ohio, right, and you done had this house a year now, 2 years, 3 years, and you file a UCC number 11 in Ohio, because that's where you supposed to allege had this debt for this house. Matter of fact, you're still living in this fucking house. And you do a UCC-11 and it come back telling you that there's no debt in your name, that is your proof that the house was paid for the minute you fucking signed your name. The house, the car, the alligator, the ATV, the set of golf clubs, whatever the fuck it is that they said you owed them for. The rent-a-center come after you for the fucking sectional furniture and also whatever, man. Whatever it might be. It triggers a UCC-11 if they file a UCC number 1. You got to remember, you're not the only person that filed a UCC number 1 for said whatever. The motherfuckers that you owe can do it against you. You have to remember that. And if they are not doing this, that means there is no debt. This is one of the reasons for why everything is speeding up. Because they know there are people out here like me that's understanding this. And all I ask people to do is just ask questions. This is one of the reasons for why they can't do nothing but just take down my video on my channel. There's nothing they can really do to me because I'm not fucking advertising anything. I'm just like, look at what I found. To anybody that's willing to listen to me. To anybody that's willing to look at what I found. Now, if you ain't willing to listen and look, okay, well then bye. But if you're willing to listen and look, I'm just saying, hey man, don't take my word for it. What the fuck you think? Why don't you go call them and see what they say? This is what when I called Springfield, Illinois, this is what they told me. You dig what I'm saying? When you call the capital of the state that you live in, why don't you fucking get back to me and tell me what they told you? You see what I'm saying? It's just that simple. When you go to fill out the form, you just want all the information. You want to talk to them and say, hey man, I want you to give me any information about my name that you can give me. Simple. And pay them whatever they want. I paid $10. $10. So I wanted to touch on this so you guys can further understand that the system is corrupt, it's fucked up from A to Z. I'm talking about they all involved. Everybody, the post office, the local grocery store, the gas station you go, everybody, it's all fucked up. It is a whirlwind of filth. And that's the best way I can put it. So hopefully this helps you guys. I try to do the best I can, especially being the type of person that I don't charge money. I don't ask people for nothing. I just ask that people support me by liking my channel, subscribe to the channel, and share it, man. Share it with people. Let other people make their own decisions. But at least I can give you the foundation to say, well, hey, this is where I went. Now, if you want to go in that same direction and see if you saw something, then you go ahead. If you want to take the story that I told you and create your own path, well, you do so. The bottom line is do what you will. I'm not here for that. That's what I'm saying. I ain't no lawyer and all that. I don't want y'all to, don't get it twisted now. I'm not some guru and shit. I didn't go to school for this. But on my journey and on my travels, this is what I came across. If that makes sense. So hopefully everybody understand that. I'm going to make another video going deeper into the whole discharging debt, but I'm trying to wait until I get done with this situation with this repossession that was on my credit. But to end that part of the segment, I'm going to just say this. I've already got the repo off 2 of the motherfucking credit agencies. And what's so crazy about it, to go to show you how bogus they are, 3 months later, after they repoed the car, the first credit agency took it off the credit report. They go to show you like they just bogus. And then I'm fighting with the other ones to get them to take it off. And then, like I said, I'm down to 1. I'm down to Equifax. And then it's like when you look at the law in regards to, matter of fact, let me do this real quick before I get out of here. FCRA, so you guys can see this. The FCRA stands for the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Did I just pull it up right where I wanted to be? I want to talk to you guys a little bit about I'll say duties at the notice of dispute from consumer. Let me say, hold on, let me go down. Hold on. It's section 6. Damn, we was just talking about this in the Zoom meeting because I was showing them. In the Zoom meeting, I was showing them, man, on the screen share, showing them how filthy these motherfuckers is. But what I'm trying to get to is the part about them reporting the information accurately. There's a certain section within the Fair Credit Reporting Act where you have to report correct and fair information. Otherwise, you have to delete the information. I'm trying to find it, guys. Damn. Okay, so let me see. Responsibilities of all persons who furnish information to consumer reporting agencies. These responsibilities are found in Section 623 of the FCRA, 15 USC 1681, subsection S2. They always got a backup. They always got to wait for you to cross-reference the truth. Keep that in mind. I tried to point that out to you guys when I was talking to you all about the IRS and how they have things under Title 26 or, the United States Code. But then I also was cross-referencing it with the Code of Federal Regulations and shit. Keep that in mind. They always got a way to cross-reference the truth, meaning it's published somewhere else, that same truth. So that's why they give you the thing about where they talk about Section 623 of the FCRA. That's the Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? But also the cross-reference was 15 USC 1681. You see what I'm saying? That's another section where you can find that same truth. It's a different section, somewhere else where you can literally find the same truth that's published in Section 623 of the FCRA. But damn, I hate doing this. I hate giving y'all false information. Well, not false information, but not all of the information. But what y'all asses need to do is download, go to Google and Google the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, and do a PDF for it and download it. Download it to y'all motherfucking phone, tablet, laptop, or whatever, and read this shit. This is in regards to the so-called alleged debt what the credit agencies can report, what they cannot, like far as inaccurate information, etc. Again, these are some of the tools that I'm using to get this stuff eliminated from my credit report. And they just fight me. They fight me, man. They perverted. They fucking some perverted, evil people that know that I don't really owe anybody anything. But because that's that perpetual slavery, that, you know, capitalism, if you will, they don't want to let go of that. You cannot be free from that. Not in this society we're in today. You cannot be free. And that's what they're fighting against. They're fighting against you wanting to be free. So I just want to put that out there, man. I'm going to get up out of here. I know this probably went on damn near for an hour. But I think this is some real important information. Everybody needs to understand this. Sit down, decide whether or not if looking into a UCC-11 is right for you. And if you determine that it is, or if you're not 100% sure, call the secretary or whatever state that you are in and you talk to them. Ask them your questions. Not my questions, but yours in regards to this whole process. Now, they're not going to give you any legal advice, but in regards to what that form is for, what it's designed to be used for is what your questions should be centered around. All right? I hope I made some sense. You know I can go off track and shit, but I try to come back and, move forward, etc. I love y'all, man. Stay safe out here. Hit me up. A lot of y'all know how to get in contact with me. A lot of y'all got my phone number. Y'all got my email address. We contact and communicate with each other on a regular basis. Show some love, man. Get the likes up. If I got 300 subscribers, I should have 300 likes. I done told y'all that shit a million fucking times. You can't hit the like button? Hit the like button, man. Share this shit with people. Let them know that they don't owe nothing. Tell your grandmother. Tell your auntie or your great uncle that's been working like a fucking dog all these years that he did it for nothing. And all he did was squander and sacrifice his energy to entities that didn't give a damn about him. All right? This is the original Longwood, man. I love y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend because I know I'm enjoying mine. Peace.